Today, I am doing my fifth interview on the Entrepreneur Interview Series on Home to KZN. This is Brenda Scheepers, who runs YEMB and a couple of other organizations. I wanted to have her on and focus on her business. So, Brenda, you are what many refer to as a social entrepreneur. And for people who don't know what that means, for you to share more about it so that we can educate more South Africa about this type of entrepreneurship and the work that you're doing in it.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Jacqueline. Yes, I'm going to give you my own simple explanation of how I understand it. Having a business rather than a non-profit that is working towards the good of society or of a specific community. Does it make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been passionate about this myself for some years, studying in the US and being exposed to these organizations that were not just optimizing for profit, but also optimizing for purpose and for upliftment. So when I meet social entrepreneurs, especially in South Africa, it's a big celebration from my side. And I'm definitely a champion of entrepreneurship in general. I feel like it's really important for South Africans, but social entrepreneurship has other layers of challenge, but also so much opportunity to make such a positive social impact. So thank you for the work that you do. And so I would love to know what got you into social entrepreneurship and what made you start YEMB.
Just start from the beginning. I started my first social entrepreneurship business in 2010 already. It wasn't something I actually planned. It just happened. I wanted to do a paint project. I wanted to do some renovation project at a creche for my 40th birthday rather than having a party. And as life goes, I ended up running a marathon instead. But that's a whole different story for another day. And then I took a year off. I call it my gap year at 40. And when I came back from that, I needed to now obviously work again because I couldn't not just work for months and for another year. This idea of the paint party that I wanted to do at a creche was still in my head. And I had just before that been running conferencing and team building and stuff like that. And I absolutely loved the team building side of it, but I didn't so much enjoy the conferencing side of it. So I decided to take my experience in conferencing and actually start doing team buildings that makes a difference. So I went back to all my old corporate clients that I used to do conferencing and team building for and wrote them and said, I'm still going to do your team buildings. I don't want to do your conferencing anymore, but let's do it a little bit differently. And they all loved the idea. And the first 6 months, it was just something I did. And then we registered a business and that was called Angel Projects. And I had that for 7 years. So that was my first business. And then from there, I sold that business and I'm actually a fashion designer by trade. That's what I did. I was in the clothing industry for a very long time. And then when I sold it, I needed to obviously start something new. I decided to go back to my original talents and love and skill. And I started Knoop Academy, which is a non-profit that does training in the craft and creative sector. So we do crochet training, we do leather training, we do sewing training. And we've done a whole lot of different stuff, but all in that sort of sector. And from there, I realized we've been running that for 5 years. I realized that in every group that we have, there's always these wonderful diamonds that we meet that's got this amazing talent and amazing creativity. And then once the program is finished, the funded program, whether it's a CETA program or an informal training program, then I say bye to the learners and they move on and I don't see them. We normally keep the WhatsApp group open, but we don't work with them anymore. So at the end of last year, I really felt I needed to do something more. And that's when YEMB started. And we try and work wherever we can with post-industrial textile waste. It's not always possible, but wherever we can. So we started YEMB, which stands for Your End, My Beginning. So the ends of the fabric and the yarn and whatever that the manufacturers can't use anymore, we try and incorporate that into our training. We don't always get everything for free. We buy stuff from people and they make products. So I'm now working with, I would say probably 70% of the crafters that we're working with is crafters that has come through a Knoop Academy training program. Then there's a few that we have noticed in the industry. For example, our Beda, that's got amazing talent and we just had to work with her. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how we got to YEMB, where I've been in social entrepreneurship basically since 2010.
Wow. Amazing the journey, but also loving hearing you were solving what sounds like some challenges with the training and then seeing, wait, but now there's drop off for people that don't have opportunities and also this waste. I'm really passionate also about upcycling, recycling. So I love to hear also there's a kind of earth-based element, let's say, dealing with waste and reusing some of that to create beautiful things. I actually didn't know that about what you guys do, so I'm glad to hear about it. So really cool. I appreciate you taking us on that journey. You've told us now what you do and why you do it. And tell us how long you've been doing YEMB, because I believe there was that journey with the early groups and then Knoop, but YEMB is quite new in my understanding.
I registered YEMB at the end of 2022 and had this idea in my head, but didn't really get going. There was a lot of groundwork that needed to be done and obviously branding to develop and things like that. So we only started really manufacturing probably in July this year. And we only started selling in August. Amazing what we have managed to accomplish in the last 6 months in terms of design and production. So it has been really exciting.
Beautiful. And I see someone here has commented. I'm wondering if this is someone from your team, Jarudel.
Oh,
you see this
yes. I'm so glad she joined us. Hi, Charlene. So we're selling our products live on the Jasana.com website. So she's busy loading some new products for us at the moment, new products that we've designed. It's actually a very nice partnership because Charlene is an experienced marketer and I'm a designer. So we're working together with each other's strengths. And she runs the online shop and I do the creative stuff. But then if you go onto her website, you'll see she works with a lot of other crafters as well. So what we've done is we've basically tried to define our roles in this, that Charlene works with crafters that is already established and has got products to go out to market. And then I try and work with the creatives or with the crafters that has the talent and the skill, but they don't actually have a market yet. So I do enterprise development with them and run courses with them and help them with product development. And then the stuff goes on to Charlene's website. So it's actually a very nice collaboration that we have. We're both so passionate about creativity.
Beautiful. So many times we just see a product and we don't always realize the journey that's taken from the materials to the design, to the creating, to the bringing it to market element. So lovely that you've been able to partner with the people that you see that's super skilled, not only helping them skill, but then helping them actually find employment. It's one thing to have a skill and another to be able to have an ability to make an income, make a living from that. So I see you solving multiple challenges that maybe exist in that pipeline. So thank you for what you're doing again. Number 3 on my list.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, I think Charlene and I have both got this vision of us one day being in one premises where you've got a leather making room and a crochet room and a sewing room and a coffee shop and everything. So we've got big dreams.
Beautiful. I love that. And I hope that when people hear this or just as you continue to market your work, that you get the support that you need on all levels to really bring this vision to reality, because there's a lot to do to make a vision reality. Number 3 on my list of the questions is, what business values or philosophies guide you in your decision-making in this business, or what's led you up to this business?
I think I've got a passion for creativity because I've obviously been a creative person myself. And when I wanted to go and study fashion design, although my parents were very supportive, a lot of people in the extended family was like, people don't make money from making clothes. How are you going to make a living? So what is going to be your real job? And if I can say, over all the years that I've worked, whenever there's been tough times that maybe I've been retrenched or anything like that, I've always managed to make an income even if it was just repairing clothes or making clothes, I've always been able to make an income from my trade. And often people that are creative are seen by society as maybe not so clever because they don't do maths and they don't do sport and they don't do this. So they're like the weird kids in the back of the class. And I know that it's not like that because you actually have got a different type of intelligence, if I can put it that way. Creativity is a different type of intelligence. So I'm really passionate about giving those people in that situation to make them realize that absolutely everything that we wear, this computer, this laptop, everything has been designed by somebody and how important design is. And I absolutely love telling my students that in the Bible, in Exodus, there's a verse where God pours his spirit into somebody to give them the skill and the knowledge to create all sorts of arts and crafts. It was the first time in the Bible that God actually poured his spirit into somebody to do a specific work and gave them a trade. So it has to be important. Creativity has to be important. My second thing is people don't understand always the time that goes into crafting. So I'm on a mission to make people understand why are they paying as much for handmade products as what they cost in comparison to stuff that was made in a factory. So those are my two life missions, to make crafters understand their self-worth and to make buyers understand that it takes a lot of practice to get where it is, to get the products to a quality and to a design stage. Question.
Absolutely. I think there's different ways people have gone about trying to solve that challenge, because sometimes if you're maybe in a desperate situation, someone might sell something just to buy food for the next day. But when there's a brand around it and there can be education on, somebody worked on this for days or weeks, and you can't just sell it for 200 Rand if someone spent so much time. So I like that you're bringing your business experience into making this a high value brand and explaining the creative journey, the creation journey that goes into it before it even gets to the customer. So what are your top 3 tips for people aspiring to be entrepreneurs, or in your case, aspiring to be a social entrepreneur? What tips or advice would you give to people who maybe just thinking of beginning this journey, where you've got many years behind you that you can share your wisdom?
I think when it comes to social entrepreneurship, you've got to choose something that is really close to your heart. It's not something that you can fake it till you make it. It's got to be something that you have got a passion for. In general entrepreneurship, because I've basically been an entrepreneur in different businesses across my life, is you've got to be willing to do the work. Those first 6 months to 5 years is hard work. You've really got to plow in the time. You've got to be able to put some skin in the game, put your own money in there. You've got to, very important, it's one of the most important things I teach my students right from the beginning, is you've got to learn to manage your time and manage your money. If you can do it, that's a very important life skill. And at the conference that we had last week, Dr. Brenda Scheepers said, if you wake up on time, the money will be on time. And I love that saying. I've used it a few times afterwards. So you've got to manage your money, manage your time. And then the third one is going to sound a little bit counterproductive, but it's something I had to learn very much the hard way. You've got to be able to establish or have the wisdom and the insight to know when to quit. Because people often start a business and it is just this emotional roller coaster, and I put so much in it and I'm going to prove to people that it's going to work. But sometimes it's actually better to let go and start again or start something else. You actually learn more lessons through that to know when to quit than to just carry on and carry on. And eventually you just like emotionally exhaust yourself. You exhaust all your resources and things like that. And it's not failure. You can't see it as failure. You need to see it as lessons learned. And it's funny, when I had my first business way back, I think I started in 1999 and I closed it in 2003. I went and I made a list, and I've still got it, of all the lessons that business taught me. I've still got that little book, and I often go back to that. And even though that was a massive failure and I had so much debt after that, it's like school fees, and I've learned more through failing in that business than what I probably would have learned if I went and studied entrepreneurship at university. Yeah, so that would definitely be my top 3 tips.
I love that. Now I'm so curious what's in that book of yours with lessons. Gems in there. What I'm hearing you say is I worked on this business for 4 years. I got in debt, but hey, so is going to university for some people, right? So learning actually as is in many ways for even those who might study an MBA, you might know it from a book or from a classroom, but it doesn't mean it's in the real world. And the real world is going to teach us more in some ways than a classroom.
Exactly. I often try and say that to my learners as well, that it is not the most qualified person, it's the most applied person, the one that applies themselves to the craft that actually makes it at the end.
I love that. Lots of wisdom you're sharing to your students and practical real life, right?
Very.
Okay. So you've mentioned some struggles that you've had, but let's speak about YEMB. I understand it's new, but so far, what has been the biggest struggle you've come up against in launching YEMB, and what struggles have you overcome actually already? Because ultimately the next question is, are you willing to share some of how you've overcome some of those struggles? Because the point of these is to not only spotlight your business, but also to share the wisdom of entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and people who've done the journey. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
With YEMB, the big thing was getting started. We started the business, but I've still got Knoop Academy. I've got another social enterprise. So there was a lot going on. And to apply the time to actually develop the range and get it going was really very difficult. It felt like I was going nowhere. But luckily, because we are a social entrepreneur and YEMB is not just me, we've got different partners. We're a Black female-owned business. I was able to get enterprise development funding. And I was just so thankful for Containerboards that sponsored just to get us going, to get the products going and sponsor raw materials. And once we got that and we got going, it really made a huge difference. It is also consistent. You've got this investment into your business and you've got to be responsible with that investment and being a good steward of their investment. So it is a big responsibility. But what I've also tried to do is make everybody that's part of the business as accountable as I am. So it doesn't all just come down to me, because I've realized I physically can't do everything. I've got to learn how to delegate a little bit better and trust other people with stuff. And poor Kanya that works in the office, she often tells me afterwards, you gave me this thing to do. And I was like Bambi in the headlights because I had no idea what I was doing. I just trusted you and you just got to go with it. You just got to do it. And I think that has made a big difference. If I compare that to my first business where I literally wanted to control everything, and I've now learned to let go a little bit more and just trust. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And then we fix it and we carry on again and we learn the lessons. Yeah, so it was getting started, but now that we're going, it's nice. I'm enjoying the process of new designs and getting into the market. That's now the next challenge, is getting into the market.
Yeah, each stage of business, you solve a thing and then there's another thing to focus or confront.
Yes, it's a growing process.
But thank you for sharing. I think that's some great wisdom you shared. And so the next question I have on my list, I'm curious your answers. So what keeps you going in this business, especially when it gets tough, especially when there's struggles or challenges, or maybe you have a day that's just, you said sometimes it doesn't work out, but maybe some days there's days where lots of things are not working out. What keeps you going? And what do you think keeps the people, the ownership you mentioned, Black female ownership, what keeps you guys all going? I'd love to hear you elaborate on that question.
With YEMB, because of the creative process, and I just feel like I'm so much back into my trade and where my skill set is. And we do have challenges. I had a little mishap with leather a few weeks ago that was very expensive. But you've just got to get over it and move on to the next thing and just then create something new from that. And so YEMB is actually very difficult to tell you what makes me keep going, because I'm just so excited about it. It's very hard to not keep going. But I think also what has happened is because products are quite unique and I'm trying to do really unique bespoke products in high quality and our own designs. And the reaction of the market to it has been really phenomenal. And that is very inspirational, knowing that I've designed something, we've prototyped it, we've made it in paper and then in cardboard and then in scrap fabric and then comes in the leather and then it's not quite right. And then eventually when it's right and goes to market and people react so positively to it is really very exciting. For example, our leather guy, he makes products and we sell all these handbags in one day, and just the excitement in him and how he's just so proud of that. That definitely inspires me every day just to do better. And I feel like I've got a responsibility towards the crafters and to the other people in the business to just do my best every day and just to see their faces light up and having them come on Creative Fridays and come with new ideas and bettering each other's ideas and becoming so open and so not sensitive to criticism because they're realizing that any feedback that they're getting is making themselves better. I just love that growth process that I see in the crafters and in our products. Everything at the moment is just growing, and that's a nice place to be in.
Beautiful. It sounds very exciting. And even with challenges or even with new layers and phases of business to solve, that there's a lot of energy and passion and heart and excitement. I think you mentioned something, and I'm curious to ask, what is Creative Fridays?
We have this amazing day in the office where we get all the crafters in and we just sit around the table and either they work on orders or we work on new prototypes or we take magazines and we look for ideas and we just work on new stuff on a Friday, or otherwise we do quality control of each other's work, just trying doing something better all the time and increasing and almost creating this community. In the beginning, when they started coming to Creative Friday, it was like every single Friday, and it sounds like a big commitment. Now, can't keep them away, not having Creative Friday this week because we had a conference yesterday. So it's basically been 2 weeks now that we didn't have Creative Friday, and they're all like, when are we coming home again? When are we coming home again? So they just love it. They come in here and they tease each other and they crit each other's products. And it's just like a real nice, holistic development that is taking place both in products and in humans, which I really enjoy.
Beautiful. I love that. I've had my own names for things in the past in the work that I've done. And so when I heard Creative Friday, I was like, oh, I want to hear what that's about. Tell me, what does courage mean to you as an entrepreneur or as a social entrepreneur?
Courage is very much about new things, and it's very much about trusting your gut. It's trusting your own intuition. And with the design stuff that we do, like I've just designed a range of leather handbags where I was walking in a packaging company in Durban and they had these flat packed boxes, and then you fold them up and they go into a box, but it's all one panel. And I looked at that and I was like, oh, that's a nice idea for leather handbags. And I had to design this pattern, and I made it in cardboard, and I can't tell you how many little prototypes I made of this. And then just trusting my gut and putting this into market. I think that's what it's all about. It's just saying, you know what, I like this, and if I like it, there must be other people that's going to like it as well. And just starting YEMB was a leap of faith, and just knowing, you know what, if it doesn't work, it's also okay. I think courage is very closely linked to our ability to handle rejection and failure.
As you said earlier, even pivoting failure into the idea of whatever happens, I'm going to learn. Whatever happens, I'll deal with whatever happens. Being willing to just confront what happens. It's that uncertainty, right? Especially in business, you have no idea what's going to happen next sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes when I come up with new ideas, I think my mother and my sister, when she have a little harder time, what does she want to do again now? But then I proved myself a few times that actually it's not so bad. So they're all becoming a little bit less anxious when I come up with these brand new ideas.
I love that. I love that. So I heard you going to be doing some markets and you've got your stuff on this website. So what I want to ask is, do you have a couple products lying around there or accessible? Is there anything you want to show or display?
I can show you one or two if you can give me a second. I'm actually going to ask Kanya to quickly bring me some animals and that beautiful leather bag. And got the most divine bag just done today. Hold on a second.
Oh, sweet. What are those?
These are little animals, and they've all got a name. Mandla is the strong and powerful one, and our buffalo is called Tabu, and that stands for happiness because we decided happiness and joyful. We didn't want to have a grumpy buffalo, so this is made from leftover yarn from carpet manufacturing, and it's really strong. It's just this little animated, there's our little hippo I had in my head literally since last year. And my niece, Caitlin Grinevald, did the 3D drawings for me. She's a graphic designer. And then our amazing crochet person helped with the patterns. And they're just so cute. Look at them. They're so cute. Yeah. And then this year, you can see this one leather bag. This is one of the ones that's made based on that packaging that I told you. And the person that made this is actually a really interesting story. Justice was part of another program where he was taught floor installing, and I was doing mentorship with him. So I've known him for about 5 years now. But then they ran out of work. But I always knew that Justice really likes drawing. He was always doing drawings and things like that. And then when he was out of work, he started working in my garden. And literally, 2 months ago, I said to him, Justice, I know you're creative. Do you think maybe you would like to learn how to work with leather? His eyes just lit up like this. And he was like, I've actually been Googling how to make shoes. I would love to do. I said, come to the office tomorrow. And I started teaching him leather. And this bag is hand stitched. How amazing is that? It is just so unbelievable. And then this one is a new one today.
Beautiful.
Leather. This is buffalo leather with a little silver trim. And then the handles in tan. It's got a little nip over there. And then what I really like, what we've done, let me turn around. You can see the inside there. And
what does it say?
So what we did was we went through 5 years of Knoop Academy feedback forms, and we extracted 50 quotes from learners over the last 5 years. And I had bags printed for me on recycled fabric. So they say recycled, 50% recycled, 50% polyester. And we're using that now for linings in all our bags. So if I can read some just randomly, this program taught me to think out of the box. I learned to calculate all the costing that goes into making a garment and price it. I got to identify habits that slow my progress. I love this one, and this is what we're all about. What I learned, I will pass on to others in my community so we all can prosper. How awesome is that?
Beautiful. Wow. I feel like you've made this beautiful product and then you've got this story at the heart of it, in the center of this bag. It's not just buying a bag. You're supporting an initiative. You're supporting people's livelihood. You're supporting something that's got heart and that's got passion. So thank you for doing that story. That's really beautiful. And I hope that you continue to tell that story and share that with people. That's really moving. And when people can have their selection of all types of products online, and people want to bring in things from China or wherever else, and just sometimes people just want cheap, but cheap might give you a product for a few weeks or a few months, but it doesn't give you an experience. It doesn't give you a meaning that wow, this was handcrafted and this changed someone's life. So I hope you continue to share that, because that was really powerful.
Yeah, I want to just quickly add, you mentioned now bring stuff in from China. Obviously, you've got stuff that's made by machines, and then you've got stuff made by hand. And it is, I would say to the consumers, if you buy, for example, a shirt or something and it costs next to nothing, say, just work out in your mind, use your common sense. How much is this fabric? Well, especially if it's maybe 100% fabric. Somebody had to make it. Somebody had to ship it. Somebody had to have a shop to sell it. And if it makes no sense that it is that cheap, somewhere right at the bottom of that food chain, whether she's Chinese, Taiwanese, South African, or no matter where she is, somewhere there's a woman or a child that was involved in making that product. Do you really want to support that? Do you really want to be wearing something that a 14-year-old child has been made that's locked in a factory? Do you really want to do that? And I get so passionate about that. One of the things I want to just go back to on our linings as well is it's very important for me that we don't only teach a technical skill, but we do business training as well. So all our programs would always include business training, which is really important. I want to share one little story that I just love. We did business training, and one of the things that the people had to do in the center training was think of business ideas. Think of at least 3 different business ideas. And one of our ladies in Pietermaritzburg that was part of a crochet program, she came up with the idea of babysitting, but then she realized in her own community there isn't really a market so much for babysitting. So she went to a local casino and made an appointment with the manager of the casino and asked him, all these children that's sitting on the floor here while their parents are playing or gambling, if there's somebody that looks after them, do you think the parents will spend more time at your casino and spend more money? And he was like, definitely. So she said, okay, I don't have any money to start this business, but if you give me a room for free, I will ask nothing of you. Just give me a room. That was August last year. She started a little babysitting series and literally used her own children's toys, cleaned it up and used it, and then got neighbors to donate toys and eventually had enough to buy new toys. And she's running a babysitting service at a casino. And from August last year when she started, by the time it got to the beginning of December, she was making 15,000 Rand a month. And that is learning to manage her money, learning to manage her time, and just thinking out of the box. And she's still doing her crochet on the side, but she's there now. She's hiring somebody else to help her to work there as well. How amazing is that?
It's so amazing. I'm glad you shared that story because everybody can learn from it. How many opportunities are there to be creative, go out on a limb, to be courageous? And you've got a student here who's giving you the feedback and who's created opportunities for herself and maybe even others at some point. We can all think about that a little bit more. Okay, so for our final question here, if you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self before starting this journey of social entrepreneurship?
I'm going to give you 2 answers. Social entrepreneurship, like I said before, do something that you're really passionate about. Don't start a social entrepreneurship that's got to do with cats if you actually really like dogs. So I'm using a simple explanation now. If you're going to go into social entrepreneurship, it has to be something that you're passionate about, something that makes you lie awake at night. That's definitely what I would suggest for people that want to start a business. I think the advice I would like to give myself is don't get so caught up in the cause and neglect the business side of it, because it is a business. You've always got to keep in mind that just as we're teaching, you've got to do your marketing, you've got to manage your money, manage your time, things like that, because we do sometimes, because it is your passion, especially with me that's got passion for the crafters, but also passion for the design and the creativity, that I find it really hard to always keep focus and remember that I'm running a business. There's certain administrational type of things that I really don't like and am not good at, but I can't let it go. I need to make sure that I keep on top of all of that all the time. Yeah, and if you can't do it, then outsource it. Outsource it to somebody else as soon as you can, because that can draw your spirit a little bit.
Very wise words. I had to do that at times with bookkeeping and accounting. So I've loved how you've shown that through example, not just your words now of working with this marketing company and working with the experts or training people in your expertise, even inviting this guy that started doing the leather, bringing people in who can take care of certain skills where you don't have to be doing it all. I love that wisdom from you. You don't need to control it all or do it all. You can delegate and share that workload, share that responsibility. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing your wisdom and sharing your journey. For anyone that's watching, please go ahead and follow YEMB and the work that Brenda and her team are doing. Do you want to just repeat the websites again and maybe even some of the markets that are coming up that you're aware of, that if people want to come and see your products, try those bags or check out some of those conscious, sustainable ways and products that are supporting both the earth and people.
We're very lucky to get invited to Shongweni Farmers Market. So we are going to be there almost every Saturday and Sunday in December up to Christmas. We are going to the German market in Wartburg. We're going there. We've just been approved to go to Sarktower, which is like a trade show in Joburg in March next year. And we've also been asked to an interview to the Tirantenkis market in Pretoria in April next year. So there's a whole, just keep on following us on Instagram. We'll keep on posting where we are. We have been very lucky to be invited to a whole lot of markets based on what we produce and the quality that we are producing. We've got one website, which is for both of them, which is Knoop, knoop.org.za. So there you can read a lot more about our stories and profiles on all our crafters. So just keep on going there. And there will be a link on there as well to go to Tasana to have a look at our products there. Yeah, and I've got 3 words to end with. It's connect, collaborate, and create. And that's what it's all about. Connecting with the right people like you. Thank you very much for having us today. And collaborating with people like Charlene and other people in the industry. And just being creative.
Absolutely. I'm 100% behind those words as well. Thank you for ending on such a beautiful note. Connect, collaborate, and create. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to follow Brenda and her journey with YEMB. Take care, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye.